All right. Welcome to the Drew and Dragons YouTube channel where we conquer the art of game mastering one video at a time. I'm your host, Drew. I'm excited to get into this with you guys tonight. If you watch the intro, this is going to be our Let's Prep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to record my session prep for my Tuesday night patron table. And what I'll do is I'll release them on the Wednesday after that session is played. If a player watches, cool. This isn't necessarily aimed for them, though. I mean, some of them are game masters and might take away some certain things that I'm trying to show you tonight. So, but we're gonna get right into it. Really, what we're gonna do again is go over start to top my prep for my Tuesday night game. Talk about the key points, key places, and then along the way, I'm just gonna try to share knowledge that I think is pertinent. Please take this opportunity to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment below on things that you like that you saw. I would honestly recommend, I speak pretty quick, so maybe it won't work well, but I would probably watch this at 1.5 speed, and you'll probably get the most out of it. But thank you again for taking the time to be here with me. Let's get into session 94. Session 94 of the Mythmen of Theros. So, and again, when I was talking in the overview, I said this is the Mythmen of Mount Cure, or the myth. The title has been changed multiple times in my mind as I kind of came up with this, but it's really the Mythmen of Theros, right? And the first chapter was the Calling of Clothis, where they went to Mount Cure. Here, I'll take us over to the world map so I can just give a brief overview of where we're at. So the party went from Mount Cure, and at first. They were called all of the lesser gods, meaning the non-5 monocolored gods. Now in Theros, it was first an MTG, Magic the Gathering universe, and so there were white, black, red, green, blue, right? And so the 5 major gods each represent just one or a monochromatic god. Then there's like these lesser gods, or some of them are actually elder gods. You look at Clothis and Crufix. Those are the two like grandparent gods. If you're making a family tree, that would be the case. I might actually have a thing that I can show for that, but it's so easy to digress. Here's the pantheon for us. Yeah, here we go. We got Clothis, we got Crufix, we got Heliod, god of the sun, Perforos of the forge, Nylea of the hunt, Thassa of the sea, Erebos of the dead, our main antagonist. Now his children, some of them are again the point helpful to their god, and others are kind of not playing in. Mogist sent a champion, Farika sent a champion, Aetherios sent a champion, and one of our PCs is a champion of Aetherios. Again, each of them were called by Clothis to send a champion to Mount Cure. That was a level 3 champion. We'll go back to the Mortal Realms here. And again, so they started there. A lot between here and there, like we discussed a little bit. I mean, if I were to move the token all around, they went to Petros's quarters where they found Clytotechnis. That was where Clytotechnis came in. And then they inevitably marched their way back down here. Didn't go to Tinthal, but went through Akros to the Titan Stairs down to the Centaur Plains. In the Centaur Plains, they closed the rift, and that's where they gained, they lost a couple other champions and gained Dekko's Palehoof. And this is like level 10, I believe, at level 9. Dekko's Palehoof and the 9th. They then traveled with some of the centaurs, and they went deep into a cavern system that took them into somewhere in the beneath the Four Winds Plateaus, where they met with the children of Medomai. And after an interaction with them, they were like swept away to the crossroads here at Tinthal. They knew what was their reasoning to go north? They know at this point, at the start of Chapter 2, which was in the Centaur Plains, they knew that there was going to be 3 rifts that were opening. Because they closed that one, defeating the enemies that were there, using Orichalcum, a precious metal, to undo that. They still have that with them. Again, we have Clytotechnis. The Artificer, you see, that's actually a mistake. He's 2 and 1. He's not 2 and 2. Or 12 and 1. We have Dekko's Palehoof, we have the newest Tenep Res, and we have the 9th. After the meeting with the Sphinxes, the children of Medomai, and they were magically teleported back to Tinthal. A side quest, a personal quest of the ninth was found. He saw one of his queries, another exception of Aetherios. With the help of the current Mythmen at the time, it was able, including Dekos and including Clytotechnis, he was able to fell that foe. And with it, a certain interest came. He's a rich individual in the gift of Aroas, the area north of Akros. Very fertile, very some of the finest wines that you would find in Akros to be found there in the stretch between Akros and Tinthal. But past the Shield of Man, I mean, it's like the Shield of Akros, a long wall, if you will. Nothing, no crazy snow wall like we have in Game of Thrones or anything, but a poorly kept, sometimes well kept wall on the north edge of Tinthal. The land beyond it, wild and unclaimed, some unsettled or reclaimed settlements that were deserted, killed by whatever inhospitable beasts lay there. The chief among them being the Cyclops, of course. So the Mythmen went to Tinthal. They were able to solve the ninth's problem, and then they were called north. There was issues. Apparently, there was a capturing of one of the most famous heroes of all, Haktos, the Unscarred. The Mythmen went up there. Along the way, met the children of Thraxes, which is a sect or a faction of kobolds that live in the caves that they have dug and manufactured through some of their bestial connections. Grandchildren or children of Thraxes, the forge in the mountain, Perforos's kiln itself, the ancient red dragon. They met the brood mother of all of them. Kind of think about this one brood mother lays a bunch of eggs, and that's where all these like male subservient worker bee kobolds are born from. Some atypical kobolds are around that leadership and stuff like that as well. But they go up, and then they go to the flame speakers all the way up here, finally making it there. But right here there's this fort, but it's actually this massive shard of metal that through flame speaker magic, however long ago was made into this temple of Perforos, then also claimed as a far reach outpost by the Acroans at times as well. So there's a lot going on there. The Mythmen have a time limit. Clothis has given them basically another week until the next rift. They were given dates when they were messaged here, and you can see down at the bottom right. I don't know. Yeah, you can see on your screen. We're at 5:51 on the 4th of the Theramacharian. Now I am using their the Meletian calendar. Just work smarter, not harder situation. I've been using Foundry VTT for quite some time, but there's still always things move. You don't know where everything is. But hopefully, if you are using it, you probably know where everything is, right? No, I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. All we love is that. There we go. This is what I want, I think. Symbol calendar. No. It's because it's on my bar right here. So, yeah, we started on the 16th of the Necrologian, and we are on the 4th of the Theramacharian. So, only, 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks to go from level 3 to level 12, level 13. Man. Well, let's go ahead. I've given you a little bit of backstory. I left you hanging. We went to the Ashlands, or we went to the edge of the Ashlands. We met the very depleted, malnourished, and weakened flame speakers. The Mythmen were able to slay the very gnoll-like gnolls. Again, when we're talking about Theros, there isn't, a gnoll exactly as you would have in Faerun. But I do like to bring in things, however I feel makes the most sense. And so one way is, instead of, like they have weapons or any sort of real tactics, it's like There's these massive feral hyenas. They're standing. They're almost like lichen, standing on their haunches, but they also like crawl on their feet, really tall and long, kind of like, just like nasty, gnarly looking, scary werewolf hyenas. Basically, they got attacked a bunch of I mean, the image of tokens, they were like, we're gonna die. All of them said that, the players. It's hilarious. But when you're level 12, level 13, these characters can do a shit ton of fucking damage. They can do a lot of AoE. They can drop people out. It's, as a DM, it's interesting, or a GM, it's interesting to, you sit at this table where you're going to be with me, and we're going to make decisions where there's times where I feel like I'm going to kill them, and then none of them die. None of them fucking die. So, it's challenging, though. We make a fun cinematic experience. We're true to what we think is going to be in the world. We do go through a lot of the Lazy DM. I have this up for us. I have his trio of books: the Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. This is the workbook, and then there's the companion. And they're very helpful when you talk about trying to better understand how to use your time, so that you can feel confident. Because at the end of it, it comes back to us and our confidence level. How do we feel about the situation? And one thing that I was thinking about coming into this tonight is it's not about having all the answers. It's about knowing how to find all the answers quickly. So having said all that, let's go back over to our notes. And this is going to be my actual notes for the session. I have a clipboard here, like a whiteboard, that has, again, all the heroes. I mean, I use this as more of a dump station, and then everything is going to go into each of the session notes. I have a session notes archive that this is where all of the session notes are, and I make all the session notes in there, and I'm just adding them here. This is for our stuff tonight. You've been introed. Write it down doesn't really help us. So let's look at where we're at. So the current world information that we have is it's 51. 5:51 a.m. 4th of the Thera Macarian. We're in current territory. We're in the Siren Sea, Dakra Isles. Again, you'll recall far flung from where we found them, which was up here before, and now they're all the way down yonder. The will of the gods, the will of Clothis, the will of pacing as game masters. We all understand that sometimes, especially when we're at these levels and we want our characters and players to be able to do certain things. I mean, we have to take control and ownership of those entities in the world, those quest givers. I'm looking for another word, patrons, right? And not be shy, especially in Theros, to ask for religion rolls. Oh man, I love asking for religion rolls. And seeing what the dice may tell us, right? And what they are interested in doing. I'm not showing you the world map again. I was talking about the juxtaposition of we were up here in the top north in the Centaur, excuse me, the Northern Acron Wastes, and then after a trial in Nyx, they were swept away in their sleep after basically accomplishing a lot of tasks there. They interfaced with the Cyclops. They were able to bring back all of the old, decrepit, and young that were in Micria Delphi, which is like the pulley, like this shattered pulley that's underneath the base of the lesser volcano in Theros, Mount Vesius, or yeah, Mount Valus and Mount Vesius. We were able to bring everybody back to the Shard of Perforos, where there's tension between the Flame Speakers and Akros, the monarchy of Akros, currently led by the brother, once disgraced brother of Annex, King Annex. We find our story in the near future after Elspeth had escaped from the underworld. Her and Calix have left the plane. We currently find no planeswalkers on the plane, although there have been omens and foreshadowings of some that have they come back yet, or do they have harbingers working on their behalf here? We do not know. Spoiler alert. Yeah, they were swept off after they kind of tied all that up. There's threat of the Acroans and what their next action, the monarchy, is to do. They were kind of playing hardball with the Flame Speakers, so the Mythmen were still concerned about that a little bit, but they were swept off to Nyx, where they were tested in gambit of trials, and then kind of dropped onto the beaches, if you will, of Nisi Fadon in the Siren Sea in the Dakra Isles, where they kind of saw this raging storm to the south of them, and then a stronghold, this very jungle aesthetic, jungle island, Greek island, Unity themed Pharika and Gorgon lair, where they just have been in the thick of it. So you have a lot of meat that they have taken out over the last couple sessions. We're gonna go from here. I guess we'll go straight into where we find them now. We find them in the middle of combat, and that's I love starting. We're at the top of the round, top round 5, so we were able to only 4, but I mean we had a lot. As you can see, there's a lot on the board. We are not gonna be able to. So this whole section I'm gonna basically scratch. There are some threats that are right here that are probably gonna be coming in as part of our fast start. Because again, one of the biggest things that you can do, and I'm going to pull this up because we are going to start kind of flipping back and forth. I feel like let's do actually that as we go to our notes. And so here again, I'm going to go straight into our session notes. This is July 94, blah blah blah. So we have our last session right there. I have my pre-session tasks. Update the modules. This is something that for Bazaar users, if you are using Forge, it depends. I make decisions on module updates case by case. Right now, I don't feel like I need to update anything. And again, if I'm on Foundry 11, really the stable version on Foundry 11 that's on the Forge right now, Foundry version 12 is also available right now. This is July 28th, 2024. And I wait to update. So update home screen of Foundry. I don't really do that as much anymore, to the extent of like making sure that when they're logging in to the VTT here, let me make it, there you go. Really, this is where all the heat is. Like, this is where everything is. And I can go over, well, I'm interested to see in the comments what people are interested in. Do you want me to go over the combat recaps? Do you want me to go over last session's notes at the beginning of the next one? I mean, there's something to be said about that. I can kind of give you all a hint of how this worked. I'm really still, some things are still in work in progress, and I would encourage you never to think that your note-taking is actually perfect. So you see here, I put it into rounds, right? So, and I did do it in their order. And that just helps me. One of the reasons why it helps me is I can do things like at the very end. I can go to Notion AI, and using the drop-down combat round trackers give me a enthralling. That's annoying. Using the combat above. Who be texting us? Who be texting us? Well, again, thank you for taking the time to watch this as I kind of, kind of start doing this. One of the things that I feel like is like the more you got to do it to get better at it. So I'm interested to hear the feedback. I don't want to take this, extremely long, about an hour maybe. Something that if you're watching at 1.5 speed, you can listen to and take something from. Give me some thoughts or hopefully, again, it'll enrich your day. So thank you again. You matter. And in these crazy days, thanks again for taking this time. So using the combat rounds above, make me a evocative. Dude, this is where you're gonna see how freaking evocative read aloud for my players. The battle begins with a flurry of motion and chaos. Dekos takes to the air, summoning a celestial spirit that glows with divine light. Oh, dude, here we go. However, Septa's lackeys move swiftly, cutting down the Celestial with ruthless efficiency. The brutes charge toward the bridges with a thunderous roar, while Clytotechnus, warned of the statue's magical eyes, unleashes a powerful lightning bolt, striking down foes and shattering a statue in a spectacular explosion of debris. It's so true. Anaka, this massive beast that we see right here. Oh, I love right here, this thing. You can see that he's on top of something. You can kind of see it underneath. It's hard to see, but that's the door that we imagined. He and all of his little like goons, these serpent-like creatures. Oh man, I hate. One of the things, Vision. Oh, it's probably his token that I touched. And again, Deko's Palehoof was able to hypnotic pattern all of these. And we are using MCDM rules, and so one of those things is you have a title, and there's like this Bewitcher title, which like lets you have one that you don't have to concentrate on, basically. So he just like turns stuff off. It's nuts, man. So I guess I'll keep this here and I'll read to you what we said, and I'll kind of point it out as we. Anaka appears at the edge of the battlefield while Ninth nimbly evades attacks. Oh my gosh, dude, yeah. His arrows finding their mark in the Bloodlords, the Broodlords, which are these creatures with their arms are made of snakes, basically. They're they're monstrosities, basically. The Abominations clamber forward, one coiling around Clytotechnus. So down over here, Clytotechnus was grabbed by one of these things pretty quickly early on in the round. Who responds with a fiery heat metal. Yeah, so we did some rolls to see if he could do it, but he inevitably like casts heat metal on himself. He's a anvil rot, an anvil rot suit of armor, basically fire genasi. So I mean the flavor's there. So he's coiled up by the snake and he casts heat metal on himself and lights himself up. Who responds with the fiery heat metal spell? Yeah. Tenebrez, who's our Yuan-Ti, but he looks more like the abomination that you would see there. This is Tenebrez. I want to see your. Yeah, that guy. But he's a Yuan-Ti Beast Heart MCDM stuff. A lot of MCDM stuff like their stuff, but I use other people's stuff. But I guess I use theirs more than not. I love their aesthetic, and I like their stuff's pretty good. As the battle rages, Dekos launches a Psychic Lance. Oh my gosh, that incapacitates Septa, leaving her vulnerable. So I was using their Medusa that you can see here in the notes, right here. And they've, instead of it being like you start your turn within 60 feet of the Medusa and you're looking, you take it. She has like an active blast. So Dekos used a blast to get her down. Launches like it lands, it incapacitates Septa, leaving her vulnerable. The Brute's caught in a hypnotic pattern, swaying in a daze as Clytotectus moves to finish off the Abomination constricting him. Yep. His hammer crashing down with a satisfying crunch. Ninth steps forward, his blade lashing as he decapitates Septa, her stony gaze finally silenced. Silenced is a weird word there. I would think like squelched or something like that. I like that. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. The battlefield is a cacophony of clashing weapons, magical explosions, and desperate cries. Brutling swarm, but Dekko's cunning words and spells keep many at bay. Tenebrez unleashes a blast of force, clearing a path through the enemy. Ninth dances through the fray, his attacks precise and deadly, while Clytotechnus, bolstered by haste, smashes through the Broodlords with restless fury. Amidst the chaos, Anaka bursts onto the scene, her presence commanding and terrifying, but the heroes press on, their resolve unshaken. Dekos, hovering above the ground, rains down Eldritch Blast, striking true and dealing critical damage. The battle rages, its climax, except as incapacitated form, is brought low, her body crumbling under the relentless onslaught of the heroes. With Septa defeated, the remaining enemies falter. Knight's blade finds its mark again and again, while Tenebrez's ferocity knows no bound. The broodlings, once so menacing, are reduced to scattered remnants. The battlefield falls silent, the heroes victorious, yet acutely aware of the challenges that lie ahead. As the dust settles, see, we're not even done with the combat, so it's funny that, the AI has gone too far. It's gone too far! Amidst the chaos, Anaka... Yeah. So I think we're going to delete that part. Okay. So now you know where we're at. That was last session, and again, it's going to be more combat when we look at what we have here. So let's look at how much we've got on the field. There are two Gorgons over here that I think I'm going to bring in. They're lesser Gorgons, so they're going to be like the ones that are in D&D. They're just going to be themselves, which they're not as... Yeah, they're CR6 still. The Petrifying Gaze, man, I don't know, like... When a creature that can see the Medusa's eyes starts its turn within 30 feet of Medusa, the Medusa can force it to make a DC 14 combat. A part of me thinks that, again, I want to take these, and I want to force them over here. I think I'm going to, like, remove these from the encounter, potentially. I might leave these in here as a trap when they, like, were to go into it later, and they, like, look around it, and those things can emerge out of it or something. That's what I would imagine happens. But these guys, I feel like, are kind of part of this whole brigade, and I kind of marched those and moved them around, so I'll probably get rid of these guys. But these ladies and these Gorgons, I think, could be following up. And I think that they'd be following up, like, through this area. So yeah, we've got 2 Gorgons, and that'll be a good challenge. I mean, a nice thing that we've created within this. Again, this is the Serpent Stronghold, one of Farika's main areas within this island complex that's in the Thakra Isles. And what we've been able to do is we're going to put them like right here. So the first thing we're going to do, and then we'll go back to my notes real quick. So let's go ahead and put you over here. And I think you got. Go over to this one. So what scene we spend the most time on? Serpent Stronghold. So I'm gonna, and what you'll see is that, man, yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that I'm gonna take from the other one. So we'll do Serpent Stronghold. How can you make it better and different from the last time? Yeah, I mean, when I think of how can I change it up, with the fast start, I think I'm gonna bring in these guys. They're in the building. They'll come up through the Inaka hole behind Inaka. They'll probably wake him up, leaving these ones still. I mean, all the things up above will be freaking still silly. And so yeah, I mean, let's go to the fast start. So yeah, you're on the right screen. So we go to the strong start here. And this is mostly using these bullet points. I'm gonna bring to Medusa and Unity out. They wake Anaka on their turn. Yeah, we'll give them, because they're gonna be stressed about that for sure. And then they'll get him out of hypnotic pattern, because that's like for a hot minute, and they'll come up and they'll be like, "What is their problem?" and do that. They have in here, which is where they were. There's a decently large number of NPCs, and so this is where we go down. You see what I got going, what I got cooking here. So I got my Epson Adventures, intrigues. Intrigues are like factions interacting with factions. Like adventures are PCs interacting with the world, sort of a thing. So we have Slay the Snakes, our epic. You know, our overarching chapter is the Strands of Clothis. Which is destroy the 3 underworld ruptures. Slay the Snakes is their local one, which is kind of they got put here and then they're going to get dispersed out. And then if we go to last session, I'm going to open this in a we'll do it in the side peek. So we got this is where again my session notes were, but if you go to my prep notes, which are up here, boom, I got a lot of stuff to be able to just move over. So you'll see here, we'll make this bigger. So over here is what I kind of inevitably end up with, which is a lot of stuff over here filling out our major pieces. So this is outline major scenes, and this is kind of, it turns into this. This is more cinematic, and this is location based. So the right is the location, right? The territories, regions, POI. So we have my POI, Serpent Stronghold, and then these are each of the chambers. And what they have, what they'll be able to find in them, things to read for them, and again, this is they really just finished one huge area in the Northern Acroan Waste. They haven't really, they did a bunch of side stuff, right? They met the fucking Children of Thraxes. They met the Cyclops that are actually they found. I introduced the talent through the Cyclops with a Nothic leader. Found a crystalline entity structure, or like crystalline vein that gives people heightened intelligence, like they become the talent, which is like a MCDM psionic class. So we have these very now intelligent Cyclops in the Northern Acroan Wastes, and then we have the Flame Speakers that were going to get wiped out completely by that horde. If not, and this goes back to one of the things that I love about lately that I've been doing is when we want to go to Mythmen clipboard, our timeline here, and so like you'll see today is the 4th of the Theramacharian. We are at 5:50 the end of the session, right? But I have at 10 a.m. 5 scouting units of the Lucos, led by Wood, attempt to retake the Shard of Purpose. That doesn't make sense, but it's just like when I use these, sometimes I just write down thoughts. I do have the Boar of, so here we go, Mortals of Theros that are associated with this. Haktos the Unscarred, Rogarg, which is Gregor, the Boar of Akros. So this massive Akroan that's supposed to be the number 2 of our boy, not Annex, but his brother, Timotheus. The king of Akros, the monarch of Akros. Boom! Look at that fucking menacing motherfucker. And you can see, here's a bunch of items that come with this. Some of them are, I feel at this point, like almost unnecessary, but I will say that you learn a lot by doing it. So, themes and tones of the session. Let's get back into what we were doing. This was last session. Yeah, here we go. So this is our current session, 94. Serpent Stronghold, scenes to build, none. Actors, none. I mean, I guess we have the actors to build over there, but I really think that we have most of them, so I can move those now. That's probably a good thing to do. A lot of times, like, we're just duplicating stuff. Even you see, like, I have all these quests. These are all things that they basically are going to unlock, like, as they finish combat, right? They'll be unlocking some of those when they interact with certain objects in the place, including see, I move some stuff around. So we want to copy this. Get rid of all that. Monsters, we don't need to worry about that. I mean, it's Unity. Now see, this is where I moved all the items kind of into each of the rooms instead of the monsters. And you see, like, here's all my NPCs. So I'm like, this whole thing I'm just going to duplicate, the Serpent Stronghold. I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to send this to my my next one. And then I can just go back. Here we go. And then I can take this and put it over here. Okay. I guess I'm gonna put it right here. And again, I thank you for taking the time. Again, like, I'm very interested to see what people comment if they do. For me, it's nice to have a commitment to myself that I will be pushing these forward. And being able to show everybody what I'm working on. I hope that it's helpful to you in your pursuit of being a DM and providing an awesome experience to your players. It's really a lot of fun when we're able to simplify it and feel confident, because I know that for me, I have a lot of anxiety about being able to produce good content. So I mean, for this one's a great first experience to come along with me, because it's a lot of a combat, right? So I want to get back over the map for you. Really, looking at it, the session will probably go as this. I'll do a fast start. I'll work with AI over the next day or so, and I'll start right now probably on kind of creating a pretty vivid fast start where I would give a recap of what happened using that AI generated stuff. Now that's paid through Notion. I have a Notion account with them, and I pay them each year to use the AI. But because I take my notes in a sequential order like that, if I'm making sure to take good notes, man, can it do a lot of legwork for me to remember what's happened, and then I can go through and boil it down here. You'll see I have a lot of adventures that I'm setting up here. I've got it all boiled down by location over here. So when they're done, we'll have combat and see what happens. I mean, they still could die. I mean, I don't think they will. What I bet happens is these guys come out round one. They'll do it at the top of the round. It'll be the fast start. So they'll pop up, and you'll see them like eyeing Anaka, wondering what's up, Dekos, because he's floating above. What do you do? It'll be Dekos' turn. We'll see how they roll, and then we're just gonna be rolling into a combat. I bet that they might finish the session out of combat. I would hope that we would be able to get out of session, and they'd be able to kill all these guys. They were able to kill the main Gorgon after she healed herself, and Cladotechnus was able to help with that. He's hurt, even though he's very hard to hit. Oh, here we go. 25 AC, man. Like, just God of the Forge, grandson of the Forge God. And so we'll see what happens at the end of that, and then we're really going to run down the introductions of all of this. They'll find this back room that they were able to find already, basically, but not go in there. And they'll be able to, this is the hidden room. They'll find a sack of the hidden room, which has a bunch of different interesting things, including some that'll give a couple different quests. And then we have the main altar, which has some an artifact that Clytotechnis would then be able to get volatile armory as a quest, which is where he would want to destroy these artifacts, or he would be kind of intrigued in how to pull towards, if he chooses to do it or not, whatever, towards destroying those cups. I mean, the real kicker is the hidden room. They're going to find the Serpent Stronghold Ledger, which has a bunch of notes about all the wrongdoings. This is a pretty big. This is the number 2 stronghold in the Gorgon faction. I mean, that is the lover that just got decapitated, the lover of Hythonia, one of them, one of her favorite children, I imagine, or favorite, sisters. Anaka, if killed, will also be one of her favorite pets. In this location, one of, if not one of the most important, the second most important thing to her throne on Scophos being, it's like Scophos, let me see. Second, we have it here, but I don't want to pretend like I actually know exactly the Stone Court. Hythonia. Scothos. And again, we go to Scothos. We look. It's not perfect. I've got the world map going on here, and then we can go over here, and I can show you the world map. Over here. Again, they went from all the way over here, probably like 5 sessions ago. They've been on this place. They came down. We had a week off because we had to like shift around. One person left, one person came in, so that we had our 4 settled. Then got to the beach, fought some of the Yuan-Ti, had a quick chat, approached the temple foreground, which you can see over here. Approached down here, killed a bunch right here, killed a bunch right here. Fought a Typhon over here that the 9th almost got fucking eaten by. His summoned steed, that is a skeletal griffin, died in the mix. But so I mean, ideally next session I'll be coming back, or next notes we'll kind of be digging down deeper into it. They probably will find the map that they could have gotten, which is of Nisi Phidion, which is this region. I can show you that. I can show you guys. Oh, right here, region map. Yeah, I made this. This is an incarnate map that I made, and so they're down here. And we'll explore that. That's a kind of something that I made from the upper map, right? And I try to take it a 1-for-1. So this whole thing, you can go from here. Let's go from that to that. I mean, hopefully it's not too bad. I think I did a decent job, I feel like, and you see the bottom part here is of the other isle. And so I populated that. They might go into that, but really the biggest quest that they have outside of clearing this stronghold is they have go to the underworld rupture, which is south. You can see on the world map here. It's hard to miss. It's only like this, and so they have to get to that. Let me take you back to this real quick. Show you all as we wrap it up. You saw me kind of move over my quests, my intrigues. You saw me kind of go over my strong start. I was talking about the Medusa. They will look to wake Anaka. Nothing huge. I moved over my the mortals, and I moved over my location-based, enemies, NPCs, items, adventure, new quests. Again, this is the torture cell room that they'd meet. There's 5, 2 of which are petrified. One of these three that aren't, though, is a healer, so can be able to do that. You see, I have this outline major scenes. I probably need to be doing that. You know, really, again, this is where, entering of the new Gorgons, right? And I want to give some flavor into that. Entering, or like, the torture room. Finding the torture room. Like, do they hear the voice? And this is where the reason why I do outline of major scenes, it's just me thinking, what are scenes, what are things that I want the players to see tonight? What are what do I want to see? What do I want to show them? What are cool things that we can do? And that's where we can go over creating secrets and clues. This is using, and populated by the stuff that I was talking about, the lazy dungeon master. And so, yeah, I mean, that's really much it for tonight, I think. Honestly, we don't have that much going on in the world building needs. We have a lot of stuff that you saw that I've been working on recently for this area, and maybe next session, Let's Prep, I'll be able to divulge more. We'll talk a little bit more about, what actually happened in the session, diving down into that, maybe looking into these notes. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. It's been 40 minutes. I hope that you've been able to take something away, even if it's just like, oh, I like that he asked this question, themes, tone, and tension. I want them to feel risk. I want them to feel, like their lives are on the line. And I think they do, a couple of them, certainly. Mechanical focus, I think it's just combat, right? I mean, I think there's going to be some exploration for sure, as they find that. And then I think they're going to have to RP with some of those NPCs that we have. I just honestly don't see them making it into and me having to pull tokens of all those NPCs next session. I can probably just put an image that I make with OpenArt or something like that. Or, one of them is a named NPC from the MTG universe, which again, I take from Mythic Spoilers. That's a place that if you want to, I can show you one last parting gift. I got my DM screens over here, DDB. So this is just my Mythic Odysseys, so you can go to the DDB stuff. But yeah, this right here, let's go into the other page. Just Mythic Spoilers. Like, if you go to the cards and, from the Theros sets and you just go look for a little bit, yeah, I mean, you'll get inspired, in my honest opinion. So, again, my name is Drew. Thank you for coming to the Drew and Dragons YouTube channel, where we are conquering the art of game mastering one video at a time. Please let me know, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I missed. And I'm excited to come back to you a week from now and let you know how the Mythmen handled the Serpent Stronghold. Good night.